Dear students, today I am going to deliver a lecture on agribusiness, its meaning, feature and the structure. We all know that agriculture is an important sector for global economy and the most important sector for developing countries like India. In India, its contribution is about 15% to the gross domestic product. It also engages half of the total workforce. This is the case for most of the developing countries. Therefore, attempts to eradicate poverty and the social upliftment of the developing countries cannot be envisaged without strengthening the agriculture. Agriculture also produces raw material to support various agro-based industries and subsidiary industries including dairy, textile, food and pharmaceuticals. Agricultural activities are to be made more competitive with the input of modern technologies and value additions. It is in this context that agriculture has to be understood as an agribusiness activity. Agriculture business has become a well-accepted term worldwide and it is gaining momentum in recent times. Next, we shall be discussing the concept of agribusiness. First, we have to understand the general definition and the origin of agribusiness. Agribusiness refers to the collective business activities that are involved in all sorts of agricultural activities. It covers the supply of agricultural inputs, the production and transformation of agricultural products, and their distribution to final consumers. In 1957, John Davis and Ray Goldberg, two Harvard economists, coined the term agribusiness. They define agribusiness as, quote, the sum total of all operations involved in the manufacture and distribution of farm supplies, production operation on the farm, and the storage, processing and distribution of farm commodities and items made from them, unquote. These activities include farming, management, financing, processing, marketing, etc. In the 1960s, several business schools in the US offer a specialized field of study in agribusiness management. Later, in 1975, agribusiness management was introduced in the agricultural universities. However, in India, it is of recent origin. Agricultural economists define agribusiness as all business enterprises that buy from or sell to farmers. The transaction may involve a product, a commodity or a service and encompasses items such as number A, productive goods or services, example, feed, seed, fertilizers, equipment, energy, machinery, etc. Number B, agricultural commodities, for example, food and fiber. And number C, facilitative services, example, credit insurance, marketing, storage, processing, transportation, packaging, distributions, etc. The concept of agribusiness in developed and developing countries is slightly different owing to the different nature of agricultural operation. In the developed countries, agribusiness is defined as the total output arising from farm production and product processing at both pre- and post-farm gate levels. In developing countries like India, the agribusiness sector encompasses four distinct subsectors, namely agricultural inputs, agricultural production, agro-processing, and marketing and trade. All these add value or utility to the goods. Examples of agribusiness in India ranges from big and well-organized retail giants to small ones, which are Food World, Nilgiris, Subiksha, Fabmore, Giant, etc. Some other agricultural retail chains are E-Chopals and E-Sagars of ITC, Krishi Bihars of Mahindra and Mahindra, Aadhars of Godrej Agro, Kisan Sansars of Tata, and Reliance Fresh and the Reliance Retail. Agribusiness is fields of study. Agribusiness is emerging as a specialized branch of knowledge in the field of management sciences. In this context, agribusiness can be defined as science and the practice of activities with backward and forward linkages related to production, processing, marketing, trade, and distribution of raw and processed food, feed, and fiber, including supply of inputs and services for these activities. The major area of emphasis in the agribusiness field of management study are: number A, agricultural economics and marketing; number B, analysis of agribusiness enterprises or agribusiness management or project development and management; number C, agricultural finance and quantitative methods in business; number D, agribusiness laws and policies; and the last one, number E, agricultural business organizations. Next subtopic, that is features of agribusiness. Agribusiness, owing to some of its distinctive features, differs from some other kinds of businesses. The features are: number 1, diverse nature of business. There exists various kinds of business in the agribusiness sector, that is of basic producers, wholesalers, brokers, processors, packagers, storage firms, transporters, financial institutions, retailers, and food chains. Number 2, existence around production areas. Agribusiness is established around several million producers or farmers who produce hundreds of different food and fiber products. Number 3, dealing with farmers or producers. Most agribusinesses deal with farmers both directly and indirectly. No other industry is set up principally around the basic producer of the raw product. Number 4, variety and size of agribusiness organization. There is infinite variety in the size of agribusiness, from one person and one family to giants or huge or tall organizations. Most agribusinesses tend to be small when compared to other businesses and industrial segments. Number 5, scale and the type of competition. Agribusinesses are small and compete in a relatively free market where there are many sellers and the buyers. The size of agribusiness does not allow monopoly. Product differentiation is also difficult. Number 6, decision making. Agricultural operations are taken mainly by husbands and wives. Number 7, community-oriented business. Agribusinesses tend to be community-oriented in small towns and rural areas. Number 8, seasonality. The agribusinesses are highly seasonal in nature due to planting and harvesting seasons and interdependence of specific enterprises. Number 9, vagaries of nature. Agribusiness deals with vagaries of nature, namely drought, flood, insects, diseases, etc. And everyone from producer, banker and manufacturers is concerned with the weather. Number 10, government programs and the policies Government programs and policies have direct impact on agribusiness. Many agricultural products are directly influenced by government programs and regulations like subsidies, fixation of minimum support price, etc. Now let's move to the structure of agribusiness. The structure of agribusiness can be understood with the study of its sectors and the system. Agribusiness, in general, can be split into three economically interdependent sectors. They are the input sector, the farm sector, and the last one, the product or the output sector. The input sector. The input sector provides supplies of inputs which include seed, fertilizer, chemicals, machinery, fuel and feed, etc. to farmers for production of crops and raising livestock. In other words, it is also called the agricultural input sector. The farm sector. The farm sector produces crops and animal or livestock products. In other words, it is also called food production sector. And the last one, the product or the output sector. The product sector processes and distributes the crops and the livestock products to the final consumers. In other words, it is also called the manufacturing and processing sector. By looking at these sectors, it is clearly observed that agribusiness is a system of interrelated and closely knit stages in the life cycle of an agricultural consumer product. So, agribusiness can be further analyzed into many subsystems, and they are the input subsystem, the production subsystem, the processing subsystem, the marketing subsystem, and the last one, the support subsystem, the input subsystem. This is the first subsystem from which all other agribusiness subsystems originate. Here, all inputs, for example, fertilizers, seeds, machineries, etc., are manufactured, imported, or distributed. The production subsystem. Inputs are directly used for the production of an agricultural commodity as an product in itself or as a raw material for the production of other products. The processing subsystem. The commodities from the production subsystems are transformed into various products. The levels of transformation depend upon the level of processing, which can be as simple as washing and grading to as complex as chemical alteration. The marketing subsystem. This subsystem is concerned with the transfer of goods from source to end user. It includes all handling procedures and infrastructures that move the commodities from one point to another. The marketing subsystem may take three different routes. The routes are: number one, transfer of agricultural inputs from manufacturers to farm input users. Number two, transfer of commodities from production side to processing side. Number three, transfer of commodities from processing side to end consumers. The support subsystem. It consists of all the key players that provide services, however optional but crucial to the success of an agribusiness venture. It includes infrastructure like cold storage and warehouses, adoption of information technology, and a well-designed financial system to overcome the vagaries of informal financial system affecting cost and the responsiveness of the supply chain. These services are provided by institutions such as government agencies, commercial associations, credit and financing research organizations, and cooperatives. The government plays an important role in providing a policy environment that is favorable to agribusiness enterprises, such as policies on prices, insurance, subsidies, imports, exports, and general trading. Significance of agribusiness. Agriculture in the last 4 or 5 decades has undergone a phenomenal transformation from a traditional entity to commercial entity. The advent of green revolution in crop production, white revolution in livestock farming towards milk production, blue revolution in fisheries, yellow revolution, and lastly rainbow revolution, which aims at availability and consumption of fruits and vegetables, has lifted agriculture to a giant sector. Farmers have eagerly adopted the new technologies, brought spectacular changes in the recent times, manifesting large-scale commercialization and diversification in crops and varieties, increase in area under cash crops, floriculture, horticulture, high-tech agriculture, etc. Agribusiness has the potential to reap the untapped and wasted resources of agricultural activities, especially in agricultural dominated economy of developing countries. There is considerable potential of creating more lucrative and attractive jobs for the youth in agribusiness activities. Supermarkets and retail chains will need many times more young business graduates. It needs to be noted that already between 2000 and 2005, India created 1.1 million jobs per year, which is the highest among BRIC countries, that is Brazil, Russia, India, and China. The changes in agri-food systems have significant implications for growth, poverty, and food security. On the positive side, agribusiness is responding to the strong consumer demand for high-value commodities, processed products, and pre-prepared foods. There is, in fact, expansion of demand for farm products. It provides new opportunities to farmers for value addition, while agro-processing firms provide them crucial inputs and services and also cover a part of their risks. Now, the concluding part. Importance of agribusiness has increased manifold in recent times, especially in developing countries. It has brought about the much needed impetus to the agriculture of developing countries. It provides new opportunities to farmers for value addition, while agro-processing firms provide them crucial inputs and services, and also cover a part of their risks. If properly used and understood, it should turn out to be a bonanza for the farmers. Investment is flowing thick in agribusiness, and agribusiness and supermarket retail boom is a new mantra for development. Apart from its practical importance, agribusiness as a field of study is going to empower youths of developing countries like India the necessary skills to capitalize on it. There is considerable potential of creating more lucrative and attractive jobs for the youth in agribusiness activities. Supermarkets and retail chains will need many times more young business graduates in the coming years. That's all for today. Thank you.